It is not about kooky women or Meithei women. It is about the women of India. We're horrified that the video has leaked. The survivors who were able to tell their story before the video leaked do not want to speak anymore because they have been identified. Their identities have been revealed. They are petrified. We've been on the phone with their families all day. They say now their community leaders they're scared this case may be shut down. They may be not allowed to come forth, and the stigma associated with sexual violence in our country. When you hear a woman break down and say this is now about all Indian women, will someone finally stand up? What do you think? What do you feel?
I feel I'm not sure I don't know who are all these Indian women. What we are hearing is that women are also divided along caste, religion,
Yeah.
ethnicity lines. Dalit women have been paraded naked in this country. It's not happening for the first time. Very, very unfortunate. And I'm not saying that because it's happened in the past, it should happen again. But as women, we have not stood together. This country has not stood by women. Women have been divided. In fact, we are increasingly seeing the role of women participating in abetting crimes against women. So I don't know when all of us as human beings, our consciousness will be raised, but we will have to understand that women's bodies are targeted, and it's actually a vicious trap we are in. Women are seen as the repository of honor. Then the body is targeted to humiliate and degrade the entire community. Then the community says now we have to remain silent because we have all been shamed, and those very women are further silenced. So it is about all of us together breaking out of this, and women understanding that they will not win in this pitting between caste, religion, ethnicity. We are not going to win this. And to the community leaders, we've seen this over and over again. To the community leaders, one would say, this is not, the wrong is not of the women. This is not the shame of the community. This is about injustice and crimes. And together with all of us, in fact, those women should be honored to be able to give them the courage to come forward. That is what Bhanwari Devi did. And she changed the law for the women of this country, and this country has not given her justice. The courts of this country have not given her justice. And that is how we have to, those women have to become our leaders. We have to stand in support and solidarity. It is not their shame. Their faces we should mark with respect. We have to change this culture completely. And as women, we must take the lead. And the community leaders in such circumstances must open their minds and hearts to listening to the women. Their suffering should be foregrounded. Don't wait for the government. They are not going to do anything. The courts of law, Barkha, it is only recently that the September 2013 Muzaffarnagar communal violence gang rape cases, we won one case in 2023. It took a decade, and many activists, 7 women went to the Supreme Court in 2014. There is a reported judgment of March 2014 of the Supreme Court bench chaired by the Chief Justice of India. One woman could survive the travails of time. Bilkis Bano's remission should haunt each one of us today. And no words of the government are going to assuage women of this country, because that remission is an executive act. The impunity is being signaled from the top.
Yeah, it's such an important point also that you mentioned about women being split along ethnic, religious, political, ideological, so many different lines. One of the things we've been facing ever since we've been reporting on this video, Vrinda, is members of the Meithei community of Manipur, and I am not taking away their suffering. When there is a conflict, there are extremist elements on both sides. Both sides have elements that are armed. This has been going on now for more than 60 days. If ever there was a case for president's rule, God knows this is one. But we have comments saying, why don't you show us that also? Why don't you show us this also? We've been doing our best to show everything that we come across, but this whataboutery is going to be the death of us standing together as women.
I totally agree, Barkha. And I think the questions should be asked, is the state administration, is the state government, is the central government, are they acting with impartiality and independence? The onus is on them. It is not whether Barkha has shown one story and 1 minute less of some other community. Why are the questions not being addressed to those who are wielding power over here? And we know, and the chief minister has said this just this morning in one of the television channels, these are not the only case. There are other cases of sexual violence. This has shaken our conscience. But we know that there are many others. People are in camps. Who is going to create that access to justice without activists supporting? And I'm sorry, I will say it here. Activists are being demonized, criminalized. A group of women went there who are part of various women's groups. They have FIR against them. You are not going to allow activists to enable the access. The state is not there to help women access justice. Lodging an FIR is not access to justice. So how will this country move? We are in a very, very deep crisis. Pious statements saying we are feeling very ashamed and we will give death sentence is not going, nobody is buying it anymore. Women are not accepting it. If you have to create access to justice, each one of those situations will have to be understood. How has this violence continued for so long, as you have rightly said? And in an ethnic clash, women will be targeted. We know that in this country. This country was born from the horrors of the partition violence. We know what happened then. It's the same thing.